Cheers, I do, buckaroos, and how the heck are you? Does anybody care at this point? Anyway, cut and action. Anyway, so I've got two classics here. I have got Jack Daniel's barrel proof Tennessee whiskey. Let me put that down so I can read here. It is 64.95% alcohol. Translated to proof. That's a lot, man. Yeah, that ain't playing, Martha. 129.9 proof, it says. So, anyway, let me set that down here. I'm going to put this bottle up. I've got 1 ounce exactly poured of that, along with this classic Sierra Nevada Celebration. Fresh hop IPA. A lot of people mistakenly think it's a spiced beer. It is not. It's never been a spiced IPA. It has always been a fresh hop IPA. In fact, when it came out, not a lot of us knew what an IPA was, but yet there it was. It was assaulting our palates way back when. And by today's standards, it's kind of tame. I mean, I hate to use this phrase, but it is what it is. I mean, it is a classic fresh hop IPA. And quite frankly, 5 years ago it might have seemed tame. I guess I should reiterate. But by today's standards, when every IPA has to taste like fruit juice, now it is not slot on your palate again. Anyways, I digress. Trying to read the time here. Anyway, I got the fake fire on the TV. I had some music playing. That's some Christmas tunes rocking, man. I do it up here. Anyway, so yes, this is a classic IPA, meaning you're going to get a lot of notes of citrus, predominantly grapefruit, but you're going to find some orange notes as well. And you might find some other citrus mixed in there. You're going to get some herbal or botanical notes. Put a finer point on it, you might get some pine and or juniper-like notes. Classic IPA flavors, you know. See, kids, a long time ago, before every IPA had to taste like an Orange Julius with vodka in it. But I digress. Oh yeah. See, that's the flavor. That's the flavor. Yeah. Again, by standards, maybe a half a decade ago, but it would be tame. It's a very well balanced IPA for what IPAs were. Half a decade or half a dozen years ago. But it seems now every IPA has to taste like tropical fruit salad or a brunch IPA. And nobody remembers what a real IPA is supposed to taste like anymore, unless you're a person of a certain age. Anyway, I'm going to set that down. And the reason I just wanted to pair these two together because they're classic names. Sierra Nevada, when you're talking about craft beer, and Jack Daniels if you're talking about Tennessee whiskey and or bourbon, any American whiskey, I suppose. And I have this old glass here. One of my dad's glasses. This glass is probably a minimum of 40 years old, and maybe older than that. Who the hell knows? Hmm. The notes on this are nice, right? I've gotten over the years to be not a fan of the Jack Daniels name. A lot of it is the connotation. It started as a 90 proof whiskey, became an 86 proof, and then dropped to an 80 proof. Yet it didn't suffer any. And why? Marketing is brilliant. I mean, it markets to a certain group of people that will buy it no matter what it tastes like, just because it has the black label and the name Jack Daniels. My dad loved Jack Daniels, but quite frankly, I think he'd be embarrassed to what it has become as an 80 proof. It is well overpriced for what it is, the traditional Jack. But if you go up the food chain, if you go to Gentleman Jack or even to the single barrel select or this one here, the single barrel proof, a select barrel proof, I guess. They are good whiskeys, and I think even the black label is a good whiskey, but it would really redeem itself if it went back to being what it was meant to be, a 90 proof whiskey. At 80 proof, it just feels watered down and diluted. Most people that buy it have mullets. even still, and want to immerse it in Coke. Anyway, I digress. Can I insult anybody else? Let's see. I mean, I live in that neck of the woods, man. Anyway, but again, I just wanted to pair two classic names: the Sierra Nevada Celebration, Sierra Nevada, one of the earliest, not the earliest, but one of the earliest craft breweries, Sierra Nevada, Chico, California, and then a classic American whiskey name in Jack Daniels. And oddly enough, they do pair well. I was looking for pairings. This wasn't what I was looking for, to be honest with you. I was looking to find probably a stout that I have with a whiskey, and I thought, no, here I have the Sierra Nevada Celebration. It is Thanksgiving after all, and I always have a Sierra Nevada Celebration on Thanksgiving. I've done it for I don't know how long. And I haven't popped one yet, by golly. Can be, Tom. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so I thought I'd pair it with the Jack Daniels. But not I do have a classic Jack in there, but I wanted to go a little farther up the food chain to show that it really is a good whiskey and it starts out as a good whiskey. But when you take it down and blend it and knock it down to an 80 proof, it definitely loses something in the translation. There's a lot of spice on the nose. It's very interesting, but you do feel some sweetness. In this particular whiskey, I get more caramel than toffee, which means a little creamier, a little sweeter on the nose. But even at this barrel strength, it is rather easy to drink. I mean, I'm not making a face here. I mean, I'm not chugging the thing, by golly, because you shouldn't do that with a whiskey of this caliber or this strength. But yeah, there's a lot of the flavors, a lot of caramel notes. You certainly get a lot of vanilla. You might find some fruit notes in there. You might pick out some raisin in there. Um, I'm kind of feel like I'm getting some tart apple notes in there, but that could be just me. I've had a day, man. Anyways, I digress. But the finish, you certainly get a nice amount of spice, a nice amount of barrel spice. You get a slight amount of oak with some cinnamon that just cleans up that sweetness, and it is very sweet whiskey. Let me set that down for a second as I pick up this very not sweet beer this year at Nevada Celebration. As I go into AM radio voice for no apparent reason. Every once in a while I do that. Anyway, Sunday. Anyway, sorry about that. Sometimes, I get flashbacks. The 80s were very good to me. It was Southern California in the 80s, man. I cannot confirm or deny anything. I'm just glad YouTube didn't exist back then. Anyway, I digress. Because now it's all hearsay. Nobody has photographic proof. Anyway, cut and action. Uh, Jack Daniels, Jack Daniels single barrel proof. Yeah, I know. My wife's over here sighing deep. I amuse myself. I find myself hilarious. Anyway, anyway, I digress, man. I've always said that if the whole world found me as hilarious as I find me hilarious, it'd be a much better place to live in. There'd be a lot less bitterness. Anyway, cheers, y'all. There needs to be a disclaimer on here. The views of the beer whisperer may not be that of his wife. My wife's in the back. There needs to be a disclaimer. Well, nobody gives a rat's ass what you think, woman. Anyway, that's gonna land your ass on the couch, beer whisperer. Anyway, yes, it will. See, I have this inability, possibly the garage, she says. I have the inability to hold anything in. I have no filter whatsoever. Alcohol doesn't necessarily help, but it doesn't really hurt either. I am what I am all the time. I'm on 24/7. Anyway, once again, I digress. But I found this in a mix pack. It had the 3 barrel whiskeys, single barrel whiskeys, I should say, the regular Jack, single barrel select, the single barrel select rye, and then the cask strength. You know, they are all quality whiskeys, and it's certainly worth a look. Um, as with any pack like this, if you're looking at a value, you're always better buying one bottle if you know you want the one bottle. However, if you're not sure, pick up that pack or ask Santa for the pack because they are all 3 worth a look. So there you go. You set that down for a second, and before I get myself in my travel, pick up the Sierra Nevada Celebration. When I bought this 6-pack, I picked it up because I had one of the 2018 left. I wanted to do them side by side, and quite frankly, I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised, that the 2018 really didn't lose much from an entire year. Now, I will be honest in telling you that it was in the refrigerator the entire year. It somehow started up front, and then it worked itself to the back. It's like it was trying for survival. It was out for the it was trying to save its species anyway. But there wasn't a whole lot of difference. I mean, some of the flavors had kind of mellowed out and rounded out, but it didn't become a hot bomb as some people want you to believe beers like this are going to become after a period of time. I mean, it didn't go belly up after 90 days. After a whole year, I mean, a complete year. By the date on that particular bottle, it lived, man. Anyway, yeah, I found it back in August, and I was gonna pop it. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna wait a couple more months, buy the new batch, and compare the two to see how much it had changed. And by golly, it may have changed a little bit, but it didn't change a whole heck of a lot. Because this really is a well balanced IPA to start with. There's a lot of sweetness initially, and then it breaks into those hops. And in this particular incarnation, you're going to get a lot of grapefruit. You're going to get a lot of botanical or juniper and pine notes that are going to blend together. But it is it is a very well balanced IPA. Back when IPAs tasted like IPAs, didn't have taste like fruit juice. Anyway, oh, my daughter's calling my wife. That's going to get interesting. Anyway, I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, pervert wisdom man. Thank you. All around good guy. I'm also Tom the beer whisperer, beer evangelist, prolific beer drinker, pervert wisdom man. All right, good guy. Cheers.